Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Lorelei and Space Deviant.
In this theory, Will is the unreliable narrator.
Can I just let myself forget what you've told me?
There is no 11.
I don't understand.
11 is one of Will's multiple personalities.
I was looking for the answers in somebody else, but I had all the answers.
Why does Will have multiple personalities?
Simply comes down to something happened to him. The monster at the door, the Demogorgon, was his young mind's way of fictionalizing a home invasion. But the key in this scenario is Will is 11.
I am different.
And he's never physically missing.
He's just been taken over by new dominant female personality.
Exactly. So this explains why the entirety of season 5 was an effort to disempower 11. Because Will, since season 4, has been institutionalized.
Shutter Island style.
And wouldn't you agree? When you see a monster, you must stop it.
I'm the monster.
Which is why season 5 became people talking about feelings at inappropriate times.
I don't like girls.
Is everybody gay?
Nothing is real, Mr. What's-It, Vecna, Mind Flayers, 11.
All are just Will's multiple personalities. The annoying pizza driver kid, Argyle, he's actually just a hospital orderly. He's supervising an outing while Mike and Jonathan do their best to try to mend Will's broken mind.
You think I'm crazy?
No, I
And if I say I'm not crazy? Well, that hardly helps, does it?
In the end, they successfully exile 11.
She finds a small town to call home. Safe from the danger of the Black Hand. And it is here, at last, that she finds peace.
It's Will's way of defeating the disease.
Reasserting his control over his mind.
Which would be worse? To live as a monster? Or to die as a good man?
The most important aspect of this theory is that pretty much nothing that happens in the entirety of the show is real.
They're experimenting on people here.
Just write it all off.
It's all Will's imagination.
Canon was so bad, especially after, season 2.
Yeah, we're gonna get eventually to our entire Hard Dallas reboot episode, but that's not today. But what we're doing today is playing with the idea that this all takes place from Will's broken mind. Like the Three Faces of Eve or Sybil or any of those DID, multiple personality disorder things. Something happened. I mean, you can phrase it however you want. But the house got broken into, young Will was attacked, and his mind was broken. Don't want to go any further than that.
Right.
So for the rest of the series, 11 is Will.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, man.
Every time that you see 11 in a scene, you just think about it as being a version of Will who's acting weird, and all of his friends are acting weird because he's acting weird, but he's imagining everything else going on around him.
Well, she doesn't really have... All she has is her memories of being in that. It seems, of being
She's
in
no
the...
memories.
Yeah.
Really?
Really no memories other than being in that.
Not until we get into season 4, season 5, and then she doesn't remember that. And this is all that's all Duffer brothers retconning their own stuff because they didn't care enough.
Don't go too far, sleepyhead. Lessons begin promptly at 10.
And they openly admitted that they didn't go back and rewatch earlier seasons before writing older seasons. One, who would do that? You're getting paid millions. And two, who would admit to doing that?
needed to learn to write, and that was going to be the most valuable thing that we could have, which is a script that people wanted. The lesson that we learned that took a while for us to learn while we were writing is to not overthink it, because we're not writers. We don't see ourselves as writers.
Profoundly lazy.
You're making millions of dollars. Nah, not worth my time.
I rewatch my videos that I put on the internet 7, 8, 9 times to make sure there's not missized clips.
Nobody's perfect.
And they can't rewatch their own series before writing the next season.
Which makes me think it's probably not even their writing. It's probably her.
Allegedly.
Ex-wife.
Yeah, it's probably the ex-wife's. Because if you can't keep it in your head as your own.
It doesn't live in your heart.
Yeah.
How does a fella get caught up in that sort of business?
Oh!
You didn't make it.
Allegedly.
You actually just nailed it, and I hadn't put my finger entirely on it. You're absolutely right. When a story lives in your soul, it lives in your soul. You almost don't need backlog for a lot of it.
Allegedly.
And then he had to diminish Steve when he took over because he's jealous. I noticed that a lot with the nerfing of the guys. It seems like the kind of guys that the Duffer brothers would have been jealous of in high school got completely diminished. All the dads diminished. Steve, Billy, blonde kid whose name I knew 20 minutes ago but can't tell you now.
Jason! Hey man, you alright? Jason, what happened? Where are you going? Is everything good? What'd they say?
Or anyone tough or anybody.
I shoot! You run!
Anybody cool they killed off.
Oh, Chrissy. Yeah, even the little Chrissy, the cheerleader.
Well, the first one who killed him, I guess she doesn't fit necessarily into those subgroups, but.
Barb, chill. I'm chill.
Other than her, the other ones pretty much do. But again, this was back in the earlier ones, that was his ex-wife probably writing it.
Allegedly.
I would have just gone home, not sat on the pool. I had ditched many a girlfriend who got mad at me later for ditching her, but whatever. I didn't ditch you, bitch.
Why don't you go ahead and go home? I'll get a ride or something. Yes. Barb. I'm fine.
You ditched me?
You told me to leave. I just did what you said. Slut. That's neither here nor there, but I've been a Barb.
Same, but different.
Chubby redhead's a chubby redhead. It is what it is. It ain't the worst role to play.
Made out a couple times. We just made out a couple times.
Still, could be worse.
I've made it quite heavy.
So Mike was their self-insert. But everything else, 11 was the ex-wife. This magical girl that comes into your life and does magic.
Dad, we gotta give me a magical bed.
Oh, God.
I mean, they ended up divorced, so you can see how that worked out, but...
Does that mean we are actually leaving the hospital grounds?
Shutter Island style. We go to Will, and especially in season 4, when he's driving around in the pizza truck, that's like him being in a mental institution, like out on daybreak, with his brother and his best friend, trying to help 11 or trying, you know what I mean? Like all that kind of stuff. It's like they're trying to elicit 11 from his personality. The idea that Will, if he thinks he's 11, is having a romantic moment, that's all hallucinated.
Yeah.
Any of the romantic stuff is Will wishing.
Which kind of ties in with the last episode when he starts saying stuff about...
I had this crush on someone, even though I know they're not like me. but then I realized he's just my Tammy. And
Tammy Thompson, you know, she's cute and all, but I mean, she's a total dud.
She's not.
Yes, she is. She wants to be like a singer. She wants to move like Nashville and shit.
You see, by the dawn's early light.
I guess I deserve that. Second one was out of line. Second one was uncalled for. I'm sorry.
Being gay and coming
To
out.
his friend, yeah. Yeah.
So if you tie it
Alternate
in,
personality kind of thing.
multiple personality disorder.
I can see that.
Where he has a female personality, which is him trying to deal with being gay. You know, he had something happen to him, especially if it was an attack, something like that. Then you got his little broken mind trying to sort it out. So his friends are all going around trying to, like, fix this 11 personality that happened with their friend. His mother's freaking out, his brother's freaking out, but none of it is exactly how it is in the show because we have an unreliable narrator in Will. It's all the idea that the person telling us the story is full of shit. So all of these things happen, but not exactly the way it seems. This is all bullshit. This is not what the Duffers meant. Yeah. But the Duffers didn't finish the episode. They would start filming episodes before they were done.
We went into production without having a finished script for the finale.
I so fundamentally, deeply don't respect how they work that I have no problem playing this game with their work. Because it does happen to be popular. And I did love the first season, even though going back over it, I am seeing quite a few plot holes.
On the total, it was
a 9.
Good. Yeah, it was really good.
But the fact that you didn't care enough about what the rest of us loved. Netflix paid you two jokers millions of dollars, and you couldn't bother to re-watch earlier seasons before banging out your rough draft?
Yeah, we don't work for you, you vultures!
Who do you think you are?
Well, he did it.
You high-headed little weasel shits. Lazy? Good for nothing?
You lollygag the ball around the infield. You lollygag your way down to first. You lollygag in and out of the dugout. Do you know what that makes you, Larry?
Lollygagger.
Lollygagger.
Layabout twin weasel douches. Wow. How you know what it is? It's like I feel disrespected personally as a fan. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's like you don't care enough about your fans to go back and look. Yeah, pretty much cashing in their cow, and they're like, whatever. I got my money. I'll just keep cashing that cow in. I don't care how much it moves.
You didn't have to do everything perfectly, but you had to pretend you gave a shit the whole time, and you didn't.
Wonder about demo fatigue at the...
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
What we need to do now is get focused and stop pointing fingers. You're a problem. You're a real problem.
None of us were fatigued with demo dogs or demogorgons. There was no demo fatigue. Maybe in the writer's room there was. Maybe in the designer's room there was. There wasn't for us, not for the audience, who had to wait between 2 and 2.5 years between seasons. If we're going to explain it, Will's an mental institution.
This is a place for crazy people. I'm not crazy.
We don't use that term crazy, Mr. Cole.
Like Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Shutter Island. And you could even have it in the 5th season where he's kidnapped some kids. And they're trying to talk him through all this shit. So he tells them where the kids are. Like, if you want to make it real dark. Now, if you don't want to make it so dark, and you actually want to have it where he does leave the institution at the end of it, he can just, like, all those little kids are multiple personalities. Like, he's hallucinated Holly. You know, he has a Holly. Which is inspired by his best friend / guy he's in love with. But his other personality he's in love with.
Because Maury's got it. Maury's.
Safety first. Come on, time's a-wasting. Pretty comfy, huh?
Not really.
Huh.
Got the kids and
he's a thrall. Well, if you just, like you said before, it needs to be Cthulhu.
Yeah. The way it was adding up to be beginning, it was like Cthulhu type mind control.
But if you revamp Maury to where he's Eleven's father, and he was mucking around with the MK Ultra program with her mom, and he was doing the remote viewing, and he was good at it. Just like her mother could make the wiggle wiggle lights, like even when she was in.
Oh yeah, that happens sometimes. Old house, bad wiring. If you ask my crazy Aunt Shirley, it's haunted.
They both were powerful psychics up in the program. And put together. The baby was taken, but Maury was down for it. If Maury's one of those true life-hating hippies, one of those doesn't believe in reproducing, humans are all a virus, that kind of crazy, then he would be down with Cthulhu wiping out all human life on the planet. It's just an interesting thought.
Bringing back the old ones.
Opening a portal to bring back the old ones. Yep. And he's down with it. He's down with dying. That's the thing. He's a part of a death cult. If you make Maury... Woohoo!
To taking down the man.
Taking down the man.
Down with the man. And when he says down with the man, he means all mankind.
I've heard that one already.
Then he just wakes up and he's like,
Robin's one of his therapists.
Better now.
Yeah, Robin's one of his therapists. That's why she does all the talking. She's always there with Steve when Steve's there to visit him.
He talks real calm for the most part.
And they know he's gay, so they're thinking that if they can... Maybe his friends notice that, he's attracted... When he's attracted to Mike, he's playing this 11 character. He's got this... He thinks he's a girl. He thinks he's... he can't really talk well. It's not even that hard to rewrite the whole thing from the idea of Will got hurt because his brother wasn't home, his mom wasn't home, someone had been stalking the house, knew he would be home alone, attacked him. His mind broke, and he developed a different personality to deal with it during the attack. That's why 11 has no memories before such and such night. That's why she recognizes Will immediately. That's why all these different little things.
You know Will? Did you see him? Last night? On the road?
I mean, they said they took her away, I guess, when she was a baby. Essentially, that was their thing. Was, she's been in that program, so she didn't have any other memories.
But that's the thing. If you're developing if you've split into a different personality, you just give them that stock backstory so you don't have to have a bunch of random memories. You just have to invent the lab, which could be the doctor's office after he got attacked. That could be,
Right.
That could be 1,000 different places, or maybe he did get a bunch of allergy tests.
The psych ward or whatever.
Yeah. When he splits. When he ends up in the hospital after he's attacked. It's like kind of a sad story to think about it like that. But makes a lot more sense.
It made such a far cry from the original Goonies / 80s member berries.
They're lucky we're even talking about it, frankly. They should thank their lucky stars.
People are still talking about it.
Yes. With as little shits as they obviously gave. How dare you? How dare you succeed and then just... It's the same thing with Martin, with Game of Thrones.
Not one of these writers who outlines what's going to be in every scene, what's going to be in every chapter. I might be faster if I...
How dare you strike gold?
Wasn't he supposed to finish it, and he never really finished it?
He ain't put out that book in 14 years. There was a whole ass COVID.
Could have made bank if he would have just released during that time.
He knows the ending. He won't do it because people won't like it. He has all sorts of creepy shit in his other books, which he was fine with when he was Nothing Sauce. But then once he got up into the fancy pants...
No, he doesn't want to touch on it.
He doesn't have a bunch of creepy shit. Even though that's what's living in his heart. That's what's living in his little nasty troll heart. When he just doesn't want to write that nasty little troll book ending, even though he knows what it is.
I was rereading some chapters that I'd written earlier, and I didn't like them well enough, and so I kind of ripped them apart and rewrote them.
That's just our opinion on the matter. Now, what do you think? Do you think it's all in Will's head and it's just a Shutter Island experiment, or...
What's your theory on Will?
Down below in the comments. Let us know. And regardless, thanks for being here.
America, built to last. Yeah, that's right. No, that's right. They be flying that flag all night. Red, white, and blue.
thank you for joining us here today. We really do appreciate your time. I'm Lorelei, and this is
Space Chicken.
And together we are Southern Fried Cinema Siblings. And remember, the most important story is the story you tell yourself, so
make it a good one.
Oh. You're still here, are you? Well, why don't you make yourself useful? Click the share button. Click the subscribe button. May as well go ahead and click for the next episode, too.